giving him like that Brock sort of leverage that you see Brock doing now, imagine how big of a deal he would have been. But unfortunately, they didn't really understand it, I'm guessing, back here. UFC probably wasn't as mainstream at all as what it would become. As we see both guys just in the middle of the ring. What is that? A count out he's trying to do as well? I mean, who becomes king of the ring then? Both of them?
Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah.
I always find it's best to never really focus on the referee too much, because he's quite distracted. This one seems to be very active. He's jumping around the ring. It's just like rooting for him, like, go on, hit him.
Yeah, why don't they just high five each other after he's done a move? Good grief. Yeah, the crowd are really into Shamrock, clapping, and as soon as Shamrock gets the offence in, they're lapping it up. There we go. Nice brute suplex there. Very crisp Shamrock when he put these moves together. You know, looked like it was effortlessly done, you know, but you have to be really good to make moves look that good, where it looks like that and it looks like, you know, you're not trying as hard. You have to be really good at doing stuff like that, and for it to pull off as well. As we see The Rock now, another cover. This ref looks like he's going to be knackered by the end of the match. We'll get him back out there again.
He's been very energetic, that's for sure.
Very. So very interested. I can't remember, Matt. Like I just don't know if it's just something they've just not shown. But it's one of those ones, the ceremony type of it. I just don't remember Shamrock, like the whole thing, and The Rock. I just don't remember this whole King of the Ring, the way it went down, like at the end of it.
No, I totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing there's going to be bits in this that we do remember.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whole bit here is been quite refreshing.
Yeah. It's been a pretty decent match for the finals, I would say. I think just on an early note now, that I think as far as King of the Ring tournament goes, I think it's probably one of the weakest we've seen on the pay-per-view, without a doubt, just because they've started at the semis, but we're going to have to get used to that for a while now, because that's how they kind of done. So that kind of, the whole thing of having the tournament on was kind of taken away now. It was almost like you did it on the night, but certainly I think as far as the matches are going, they're pretty good that we've seen. As we see The Rock now, another false covering going on there. Quite a lot in this match.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Oh, here we go.
Yep, now here we go, his famous move. That was really nicely done as well. That could have gone horribly wrong if not done properly.
God, it really doesn't take long, does it?
Alright, see, that move then was very serious. So there we have it, the King of the Ring 1998 match. Ken, the world's most dangerous man, Shamrock. Shamrock, the real Rock. There you go.
Who would have believed it?
Yeah. So in terms of Ken Shamrock, Matt, unfortunately for him, this didn't really pan out his career after this, like it should have done. I don't know why that wasn't. I had read rumours, and I know from JR's podcast, that apparently around the time of the end of '99, they were almost ready to give him the biggest push he'd ever been needing, but by that time Shamrock had already kind of given up and already knew he was going back to the UFC. So who knows where Shamrock would have ended up, but certainly they wouldn't have given him this King of the Ring match if they weren't wanting to invest that sort of time. I know we'd seen King Mabel win a King of the Ring, and you wonder what the hell that was about, but at this stage there'd been very decent winners like your Triple H, like Steve Austin especially, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, guys that would have made this credible. So by the time we're at King of the Ring now, this is an established pay-per-view. It's an established thing, so they know who wins these things. You know, it does make the star. But in this case, Matt, it's unfortunate for Shamrock, and I guess many fans will say, you know, it's a shame it wasn't The Rock. That would have kept the heritage going even more. Another name to add to the King of the Ring, but it wasn't The Rock. But it was The Rock that, of course, would go on and definitely take his popularity to huge extremes. But the scene we see here, Matt, when you see Ken Shamrock on that turnbuckle, you know, and everybody into it, you're thinking the sky's the limit, aren't you? Really, at that point with him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the thing. All through this, he's carried himself through this tournament like incredibly capably, and he definitely, as I said, if he was coming into this and tuning in just for this night, you'd look at him and think, man, this guy is serious, and he looks like he deserves to be on the top tier. He looks like he can just wrestle anybody on there. I mean, if he wasn't just following stories, he's definitely got the look alone.
Yeah. Well, we now get the lowering of the Hell in a Cell. Now, it's worth pointing out this was only the second time that we would see this structure. Still very new in WWE. Had been used in the back end of '97 at Bad Blood, when we had the match of Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. But Matt, they were very innovative in their match. But to this point, the Hell in a Cell was still very fresh. Like, it was, when it first was seen, it was like a giant cage, and then people started to realise that this was an Undertaker gimmick type thing to begin with, and the whole idea was that you were trapped, even though Michaels got out of it in the end. But because I remember feeling really excited for this match just because I knew the previous match that I'd seen between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, and I knew Mankind was a crazy dude. So I was just wondering what he was going to be doing in this to try and beat the Undertaker. But your memories of this, if any, Matt, going into it?
Well, I remember them making a big deal about this, and then they did so much work to promote this on Raws and stuff, telling us how dangerous this was. Because I think when the first one came about, I actually didn't catch that, but I do remember actually, like, when it comes to King of the Ring, this is what I remember when I was actually watching it, when it was actually happening. This is probably the only thing that's in my memory is this match of this. And, you know, it'll always be, like, remembered, of course, because it's so iconic. But coming into this, like, they did such a good job of promoting it, and they were saying how dangerous this is going to be. And I had actually been into I'd looked back at the previous one, and I'd just seen how brutal it was. And at the time, I really hadn't seen anything like it at all.
Yeah. As we see Mankind chucking chairs up there. Oh, God.
It's bringing back so many memories now just watching this, because I remember just like sitting there talking to my friends, being like, well, come on, like, what is he doing? Why is he getting on top of the cage? What's he going to do up there? You know, they can't fight on the cage.
Jeez. You kind of almost want to cringe when you see some of this now. For those people that may not have seen this match, I can't imagine you wouldn't have heard of it, because they have shown this many a times, at least the bits in it. But when you know what happens during this match, there are, you know, some times. But when you see him, like, when you see both of them messing about up there, Matt, it makes it even harder to watch. Like, when you know what happened during this, and the way they were going on, like, especially for safety reasons. And here we see the infamous Undertaker coming out with the his usual amazing entrance. We've always, so far in King of the Ring, I've been bigging up that entrance as one of my biggest things. Coming out here, it's awesome attire that he's got on there. Bit of pyro going on as well as he comes out. Even that looks a bit dodgy. And yeah, him coming to the ring. I mean, like, you just wouldn't imagine, would you, the Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, climbing up, would you really? I mean, it's just, you look at the guy, he's massive, he's like, you know, 6'9", whatnot, and It's crazy to think what these two guys
I'm
did.
loving how like into his like character he is. He's just looking at Mick Foley or Mankind like he's a piece of dirt on that cage.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just destroy you. You can just see it in his face.
Yeah. Like I alluded to earlier, this is the second time these guys have had a match on a King of the Ring as well, like Owen and X-Pac, but these two only a couple of years before as well. It was at 96, I think it was. So, not the first time. This rivalry between these two guys, Matt, was quite big. Like, it never seemed to end when Mankind first came in. And he was the sort of pallbearer. That's who he went to first, was Mankind. As we see the Undertaker climbing up. Christ, and even that looked dodgy.
And this match was just full throttle from the start.
Yeah, no messing about here with this. As we see the Undertaker just getting to the top now, and this is where you're going to start to feel cringy about, like, Jesus Christ, it's going to make you feel sick sometimes on some of this.
Yeah, because when you see these structures like the Hell in a Cell, you really do wonder how durable they actually are. And this Undertaker, he's no light dude, he's like 300 pounds or more,
You look at the last chair shot you just gave him. You look how like agile that structure is at the top, like that. You look at it, like you can tell those guys standing on it how much of a dip that's got.
Oh, you see that bit just went
whoa.
almost went, didn't it? When they stepped on it, it buckled and went.
Mighty. I do not remember that part, I've got to say.
I did.
Sheesh. That made me go there.
Next.
They must have been thinking at that point, Jesus, are you sure? You know what I mean? Like, as bad as anyone can be, and I know these guys are amazing, but you got to think, like, man, you don't want this. But here, look at this one. Jeez. Christ. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Only Mick Foley could pull that off. Now, that one there, ladies and gentlemen, is without doubt the most spectacular fall off the cell to this day, including Shane McMahon, in my opinion. Because look at Carlos Cabrera, the Spanish commentator, just like laying like it was him that took it. That's excellent, that shot of him. But man, when you see this, I don't know if they show the replays of this straight off, but you see how he almost ran off it to get more momentum. I mean, look where Foley's legs are. You watch this again off this one. Whoa. It's just like he didn't even think about it. Like, Shane McMahon, he stood there for a while, and nothing against Shane, because what he done, it takes a lot of guts. But this was just like, you're doing it, bang. There weren't even a thinking part. It's like it's amazing to just go and do it. You know what I mean? Like, not even a pause, just bang, you're doing it.
That's another thing I love about Undertaker's character. You never know when he's out of character or when he's in character.
Mm.
I remember watching an interview with him, and he was talking about this, and he was going, everything went in slow motion, but he actually enjoyed doing it. Well, that's what he said he did.
Yeah. There's Terry Funk there, who long time friend of Mick Foley at the time was. So there he is. Now he takes off the mask. Now, isn't this true? Is this the point where he swallowed some of his teeth, and his teeth had come out and gone through as well? I know that.
Not at this point.
There wasn't
this
this point.
Is the point where he's dislocated his shoulder.
Right. Okay. That is the guy you see right over him. That was the main medical doctor back then that they had. They were probably just testing he was cool and fine with everything after that. But that one, was rehearsed, no doubt about it. But man, you don't rehearse something like that to the point where you're going to go up and keep doing it throughout the day. What we mean by saying it is it was, see how it goes. It's just like
work out well this time. You've got to dislocate your shoulder.
Yeah. Imagine being one of the fans there, Matt, like right by that desk. Like, Jesus Christ.
I was going to say, if you was for a lot of fans out there, that if you was going to go, you could go back in a time machine, revisit any event, and get a ticket,
That would
a lot
be
of
the
people
one.
would choose this one.